So, thank you, mothers and others. We have a couple more candidates to introduce to you tonight, and our next candidate is Justin Moore. Justin Moore is a candidate for Texas Congressional District 32, which is the seat that was also vacated by Representative Colin Allred. So, welcome, Justin. I'm so glad you're here joining us tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're running for office?
Hello, mothers and fellow others. I'm Justin Moore. I'm running for U.S. Congress District 32 here in Dallas. All I know is Texas. It's all my family knows. My family was brought here before Texas became a state as slaves. And now I am a civil rights attorney, which is an ironic fulfillment of the vision that my forefathers had for ourselves when we fought for our liberty. And now I'm fighting for the liberty of others in this state. The reason why I am a civil rights attorney is the same reason why I'm running for office. The day I became an attorney, my brother died due to suicide. He had struggled with mental health for years. He had a mental health episode. He actually came into contact with police here in Dallas, was brutalized, thrown into jail. He was able to get access to mental health care due to an underfunded state mental health system. And the county jail was the place where we got that treatment. And it was very much so treatment that wasn't sufficient enough for his mental health issue. As soon as he got out of jail, he succumbed to suicide when I was in New York City trying to be a corporate attorney. As soon as he passed, I immediately rushed back home to grieve with my parents. And through that grieving experience, it opened up a wellspring of empathy in me, in which I saw folks like my brother struggling just like him. And with this newfound law degree that I had, I wanted to help folks that reflected him and his struggles. And throughout that journey of me being a civil rights attorney, it has allowed me to be on the forefront of some of our more pressing civil rights issues over the past decade, whether it's police brutality, whether it's issues with discrimination in housing, whether it's getting the First Step Act passed in 2018 when I went to the White House to lobby one Donald Trump to sign some very progressive legislation that has freed thousands upon thousands of men and women who were sentenced to unfair racist drug laws that were implemented during the drug war. I've been in the forefront and in the belly of the beast on a lot of these civil rights issues that we have all talked about and have been trying to address for a while. As I've embarked on this civil rights journey through each case and through each client that I fought for, whether successfully or unsuccessfully, I've seen the breakdowns in our system. And more often than not, the breakdowns have come through shoddy legislation, whether it's been poorly written or through the radical Republican agenda that has actively tried to roll back our rights and privileges afforded by the Constitution here in this country. And as I decided through some deep soul searching after some really critical losses that we had in court, what was the next step for me? I decided to pivot to electoral politics. Instead of me complaining about the laws that I felt were insufficient in protecting our rights, I figured I should go to Congress, try my hand at electoral politics, and be the person that's writing legislation to ensure folks are being protected and their rights are being protected along with them. So here I am today running for District 32, a civil rights attorney, but hopefully a congressperson that will be able to take my experiences on the front lines and to be able to protect those that need protection here in the state.
That's great. So tell us, Justin, what are your top 3 priorities for your district while you're running for office?
Well, it's hard to say top 3 because there's so much that's wrong in this country today. But for me, I think expanding healthcare access is critical, right? I mean, I deeply care about the health and well-being of our families and our communities and in our district. But the health space is so wide and expansive. 2 areas that I felt that don't get talked about enough is maternal health, and that deals with abortion broadly, but also the maternal health of our minority communities, in which a lot of minority women are dying during pregnancies, right? It's a very cruel jest to force a woman to have a pregnancy and then not provide them the health care they need to, stay alive while they're giving birth. So that's one thing that we need to address. I mean, we have a very preventable crisis, but we're not actively trying to prevent that crisis. And we need to protect our minority women that are either choosing to have pregnancies or being forced into these pregnancies due to these abortion laws that we have in this state. Also, mental health care is woefully underfunded. As I mentioned to you earlier, my brother died due to suicide. He struggled with mental health for 6 years. Unfortunately, he could find a gun before he could find mental health care or access to mental health care. And that is a huge problem. And it's a pandemic that's not just existing in this district and in this state, but around this country. I think every family can talk about a family member, whether it's a sibling, a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, or a distant family member that has been touched by a mental health issue. This is something that is pervasive and touches every American family in this country. We need to expand mental health care access immediately to ensure that our folks that are the most vulnerable in our society have access to the care that they need. And also expanding healthcare access to make it affordable for all, right? My father just died due to pancreatic cancer on, New Year's Eve of 2019, right before 2020. And he spent so much money trying to find care for himself. And ultimately, the pancreatic cancer, he succumbed to it. But he almost went into debt trying to make sure he could get the care that he needed. No one should go into debt trying to stay alive in this country. This is the wealthiest nation in the world. And we need to find ways for folks to have access to healthcare to where it doesn't break the bank on them. So expanding expanding healthcare access is vital, and it's a vital aspect of my campaign. The next is gun violence prevention. As I told you, my brother succumbed to suicide. He used the gun. So that is something that is really deep and tender to my heart. Also, when I was 10 years old, I witnessed firsthand a man be murdered right in front of us. It was me, my brother, my mother, and my father. My father picked us up from school one day and he took us to go get something to eat. We were excited about it because he took us to McDonald's. And, when you're a kid, you love going to get fast food when you can get a break from home cooked meals. As we were excited to get that meal from McDonald's, we saw two men arguing in the parking lot, and one of the men pulled out a gun and shot the other one. At that tender age of 10, I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was that a man was hurting from being shot. And years later, I realized that this was a random act of violence that shouldn't exist in a developed country. Also, taking these experiences and coupling it with my civil rights background and also my community advocacy and coalition building, I was asked to go to Chicago in 2020 to help stop a gang war. Right, two rival gangs were fighting, and a lot of lives being lost. And we actually went to Chicago. We organized a peace rally. We organized a gun buyback, and we organized a truce as well. Countless lives are saved through, gun violence prevention in Chicago, which a lot of people say is ground zero for gun violence in this country. I've seen what community engagement and involvement can do when it comes to preventing gun violence in this country. That coupled with common sense gun laws, such as background checks, making sure that we close all the loopholes in the current standing gun laws that we have currently, eliminating assault weapons. These are all things that we can do to implement a much safer society and cultivate a much safer society and communities around this country and in the state of Texas. We need folks to have a holistic approach when it comes to gun violence. We need stronger laws that create a safer environment, but we also need community involvement as well. Working with violence interrupters, making sure they have federal funding, tax incentives for companies and organizations that actually target gun violence, giving them every opportunity to do the work and making sure they have all the resources they need to go out into our communities to ensure that we have safer communities is key. So I think a holistic approach to gun violence prevention is something that we need, and that is a strong pillar of my campaign. Third point, quickly, climate change and energy solutions. We have a dying climate. Our planet is suffering through climate change. We're seeing the effects of it through extreme weather patterns almost every season. So we need to find ways to address this, but this also creates an economic opportunity. Energy solutions can create jobs for folks that need them, right? So we need to be heavily invested in energy solutions that combats climate change, that can help us live a longer life on this planet or extend the life of the planet, but also create a pipeline of jobs for those that are underemployed. I mean, this could be a double yield for our country and for our global community. Giving folks jobs, bringing them out of poverty, but also increasing the viability of this planet is something that we very much so need. And that is a pillar of my campaign, and that's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think those are all really great things to be passionate about. So thanks so much. So where can we find you, Justin? How best can we support you in your campaign?
Social media. So Instagram and Twitter, these are two platforms that I've used throughout the course of my civil rights career to build coalitions and also advocate for clients. If you go there now, J Moore for Texas, That's at jmore4texas on Twitter and Instagram. And my personal Instagram account is justin.a.more. You can find me there. And also, please go to my website, www.morefortexas.com. That's more, the number four, Texas.com. And more is spelled with two O's and an E.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail.
Thank you.